Chapter 3. Elite Warriors and Winners. Winning starts with complete command of the fundamentals. Then it takes desire, determination, discipline, and self-sacrifice. Jesse Owens. Performance Profile, Michael Jordan. Title of the profile, Winning is Everything. He's the greatest player in basketball history. His key to success, total commitment to winning, motivating by example and getting the rest of his team to give their best. Backed it up, 6 NBA titles, 5 MVP titles, 10 scoring titles, Hall of Fame. What's the lesson? Winning is a way of life. Motivating others to see this and act on it is how you get things done. Winning, there's nothing like it. Have you ever competed in anything? Basketball, baseball, softball, fishing, racing, skiing, boxing, martial arts, poker? No matter what the game is, you probably like to compete. And if you like to compete, it goes without saying you like to win. We humans are just competitive animals. It's in our nature to hunger to win. Personally, I love to win. I want to win all the time. I hate losing. Losing sucks. Losing feels bad. Forget all that it's how you play the game stuff. That's bullshit. Whoever said that probably never won anything in his whole life. When you ask about last week's game, what's the first thing you want to know? You want to know who won, right? Even on my 11-year-old daughter's basketball team, they get pumped when they win. The reward of winning is what makes playing the game hard worth the effort in the first place. Do you watch sports? 80 million people watch the Super Bowl every year. More than 1 billion watch the Olympics. And about 3 billion people around the world are obsessed with soccer. What's it all about? Winning and losing. Competition. People driven to excel. People willing to train their entire lives, sometimes for a single shot at winning. Sweat, blood, pain, tears, joy, anger, and despair. Dreams made and dreams crushed. Whether it's on an Olympic podium or on your job site, there's nothing in the world like the feeling of winning. Team Performance Profile, Navy SEALs. Title of the profile, The Elite Warriors. Their profile, the premier special operations and counterterrorism military organization in the world. What's their key to success? Only the elite belong on the team. 80% dropout rate during training. They call it Hell Week for a reason. Setting the bar for the team as high as it can go. Total team commitment to the most lethal missions on Earth. Backed it up, they're the first ones in, the last ones out on the most dangerous assignments around the globe. What's the lesson? An elite team performs to where the bar is set. Everyone, all the time. There is no compromise. Either you belong or you don't. Navy SEALs, setting the bar, and you. Winning teams come in all different stripes and uniforms. For example, let's look at the Navy SEALs and the National Guard. Both are branches of our country's military. So what's the difference? Only this, the skills, attitudes, and behavior required for success. Both require discipline, focus, and commitment, but for the SEALs, the bar is set high, very, very high. More than 80% of the guys that apply to be SEALs quit during training. That's because that ultra-high performance bar is out of their reach. They don't kick you out of SEAL training. You ring a bell, take off your helmet, and walk away. You quit because you found out you don't belong. The bar was set for the organization and you couldn't reach it. And let's face it, even the guys who wash out are probably hardcore and super tough to begin with. But even that's not enough. The ones who do make it are totally committed to being the best of the best. They want to be something special. They want the pride that comes from being the most elite warriors in the world. So what does this have to do with your job? Let's ask the hard questions. How high is the performance bar set for you? How high is it set for your fellow workers on the job site? How many guys on your job aren't reaching that performance bar? How many in your union aren't reaching it? Do you put up with weak performers on the job? And finally, is the bar adjustable in the fight for survival of the fittest? Being the best is not for everyone, and that's okay. If you're not sure about the level of commitment you're willing to make, you should think about it long and hard. Union construction is supposed to be the best in the world. Not good, not above average, but the best. The thing is, the height of the bar is not up to your foreman or superintendent, it's up to you. If you want to be an elite warrior in the fight for our marketplace, you need to set your own bar very high and expect it from everyone around you. A few good men and some not so good ones. The survival of the fittest applies to every job site in North America. Elite warriors are there along with guys who might not belong. The difference between the best, average, and just plain lousy can have a huge impact on where you fit and what you earn. After you've been around a while, you start to see the differences. Now let's take a look at a few categories on most job sites. Elite warriors, the top performers, 5 to 10%. The top 5 to 10% of rank and file field guys will have no worries most of the time they're in the union. They'll always have jobs, they'll always be in demand, they'll always have employment. They might get paid over scale. They might be tapped to move up to foreman or superintendent. They might get a truck. Contractors will often keep the elite on the payroll even when there's no work, just to keep from losing them to another company. These might be tomorrow's contractors. This is their reward for being top performers, for having the best skills, attitudes, and behaviors. The good guys, middle performers, about 30 to 50% of the guys on the job. The middle 30 to 50% are the good guys on the job. On time, fine attitude, and good skills. That's what the good guys are all about. They have what it takes to be good journeymen. They're valued by their employers, they're dependable, they're not always pushing their limits or building new skills, but they can be relied on to move the job forward. The fill-in guys, marginal performers, about 20 or 30% of the guys on the job. The fill-in guys make up another 20 to 30%. Fill-in guys get most of their hours when it's busy, and they usually don't stay with the contractor very long. This group is weak in some basic area of skill, attitude, or behavior, and it shows. They're never lead men on the job. They'll get fewer hours overall unless the market is totally booming. They're close to the last guys hired and usually the first to be laid off. This group ranges from average to below average in their skills, behaviors, and attitudes. The bottom, poor performers, about 5 to 10% of the guys on the job. The bottom 5 to 10% are a problem. They generally lack the skills, attitudes, and/or behaviors to be successful in our business. Most of the time, they don't even know it or they don't want to know. They hurt the image of union construction every day. They're the ones employers are thinking about when they're wondering why the hell should they have to pay higher union wages for such lame-ass workers. They're keeping us from growing the pie. They go from employer to employer and job site to job site because they either have bad attitudes or they just can't get it done. Maybe the real problem is they just don't care enough. So now it's time to ask yourself this basic question: which category am I in today? Ask yourself, which category do you want to be in? Ask yourself, what do I need to do to move up? The guy next to you needs to be a winner. When you look at these differences in your fellow workers, you need to think about how it affects you. Does it piss you off sometimes that you're making the same hourly rate as the guy next to you who couldn't even tie your shoes? Well, guess what? You got a bigger problem than that right now. That guy might have a lot to do with how much you make years and years from now. Union contractors pay a certain amount per hour, which is determined through the bargaining process with the union. Most of the time, all the guys on the job will get paid pretty much the same. Think about it for a second. Are contractors going to want to pay more than what the worst guy on the job is worth? Looking at it from the other direction, do you think they'd be willing to pay more if everybody had stronger skills, higher productivity, and better attitudes? I'm guessing they probably would. So when you look at the guy on the job next to you who's not pulling his weight, you got to ask yourself this: is he helping to increase my next raise, or is he holding me back? Because there's no in between. Winning through productivity. Winning this fight is about two things: quality and production. How much the team gets done, and how fast and how good it is when it is done. So how much hands-on work gets done by a regular construction team during a regular day? 8 hours? Not even close. According to an industry study, only about 1/3 of the average workday is spent on direct work. Here's how the study breaks it down on an average construction worker's time spent on most job sites. Direct work being performed, about 32%. Waiting time and delays, 29%. Travel time, 13%. Receiving instructions, 8%. Tools, materials, and setup, 7%. Late starts and early quits, 6%. And personal breaks, 5%. The total for the workday, 100%. Why does this matter? It matters because productivity is all we got. It's how we're going to beat non-union labor. Unless we want to compete by reducing wages and fringes, competing on productivity is the only way we can do it. Of course, in different kinds of work and projects, these productivity percentages change a lot. But there are little things we can do on every job to make sure we score higher on productivity every single day. Here are 10 quick tips for boosting your productivity numbers. Number 1, use waiting time to plan ahead for work to come. Number 2, don't start late. Number 3, don't quit early. Number 4, when traveling, go directly to and from jobs. Number 5, check to see you have all the materials and tools you need before you leave, then check again. Number 6, don't extend personal breaks or tolerate others that do. Number 7, give instructions to apprentices or others needing direction before they need it, not while they're doing it. Number 8, when it's practical, take your bathroom and smoking breaks during waiting time. Number 9, stay focused on the tasks you're doing and on the quality. And finally, number 10, set goals for work you want to complete by a certain time. You get more done and the day goes faster. A winning investment in you. Making and molding an elite warrior is not cheap. It takes a bucket of cash to train an apprentice through journeyman. After you weed out all the dropouts and duds, more than 10% in some crafts, it's not unusual for the unions and contractors to spend $10,000 to $30,000 to graduate an apprentice. Yeah, I know, it costs that much to go to college, and you don't even get to go to the keggers. Still, it's a great education, no matter how you look at it. Every year, unions and employers spend hundreds of millions of dollars to train the workforce. That's a hefty price tag for making you the best in the world. In return, you're only asked to do one thing. And if you haven't figured out what it is by now, do us all a favor. Toss this book and go get a job driving a bus. And the answer is to be one of the best union construction journeymen in the world. Your career is your business. Your job is not guaranteed. You live from job to job in this business, from dispatch to dispatch. You're directly responsible for your value on the job. Your ability to thrive and make money is directly related to the skills, attitudes, and behaviors you bring to the job. These things determine how many hours you work each week, month, and year. They'll be reflected in how long you stay with the contractor, and they'll determine how much he values your contribution. Your job is your business. Manage it well. The winner's reward, finding a home. There's such a thing as finding a home in the construction business. Your home is a company where you'll work for years, a company that knows you can deliver results and appreciates it. Your job is to find this place and then work to belong there. This is how you combine your job and your life in a way that makes both a whole lot better. A good company will know you when they see you. Not all of them, of course. Some contractors are too big, too small, or just too dumb to understand. But some of them want to find you just as bad as you want to find them. And once they do find you, they'll show their appreciation by keeping you on. For months, or years, or even decades. There's plenty of guys who find their home and never take another dispatch. Why? Because they showed the contractor from day one that they were different. Smart contractors have a good eye for talent, and they're constantly on the lookout for it. They don't even care if they need anybody right now. If they find somebody that good, they'll find a place for him. They know that if they let a great worker go, he'll get snapped up by another company in a heartbeat, and they don't want to see that happen. Nobody's going to give you a home on a silver platter. You have to earn it. Not everybody is in an area or an industry where it's even possible. But if you can make it happen, it'll bring you far greater earnings and stability over your career than you'll have otherwise. Trust me, it's something worth aiming for.